Ladies and gents, my name is Xander, aka Diaside, and in this video, we're going to once again discuss the competitive scene. But in this one, we're going to do a little bit of a different twist, because instead of focusing on the weapons that you guys need to use, as well as the characters that you might want to use on top of that, what I really want to focus on here is team dynamics. Now the main reason that we're doing this is because of my very good friend, Christina Lett. And as you guys can see, she wrote this very nice comment asking for some tips and tricks on how to do better in the team dynamics, which pertains to flow, map control, managing team morale, and the last one right there probably is the most important one out of all of these things, and that's because whenever we have team morale to be high, we have much greater chances of having great success, but when team morale is negative, that's when we all fall into a black hole. Now the game footage that you guys are seeing in the background is from the competitive playlist, and so what I'm going to try to do is keep as many edits of this out as I possibly can, so that you guys can see some more examples of what we're going to discuss within the video. And to find out exactly what all that stuff is, the only thing left to do is to eviscerate that notification button, and let's jump right into the video. The very first thing I want to address is how to complement each other's playstyles via team dynamics, and with this then comes cohesively moving as a team via flow and map control. As you all know, no single individual is ever going to be the same, and this same premise holds true with Destiny 2 and each Guardian's unique playstyle. No matter which kind of playstyle that you have, whether it's aggressive, passive, or somewhere in between, all have their strengths and weaknesses, but it's up to you and your fire team to know who has what so that you can amplify each other's strengths while overcoming each other's weaknesses, giving you the best team dynamic possible. For example, let's just say that we have 4 hyper-aggressive Guardians who are all running Luna's Howl and the Dust Rock Blue Shotgun, versus 4 passive Guardians who are all using the Bygones and the Telesto Molesto. The main strength of the passive team is to lock down map control and to keep distance so their Bygones can cross-map you, while the Telesto is a piece of muff cabbage trash, wrecking you at any range possible. On the other hand, we have the hyper-aggressive team, and their strength is to continuously rotate, attack from different perspectives, while closing the gap so their shotguns can annihilate, decimate, and eradicate you to smithereens like the hooligans that we all are. With the passive team, their weakness is close-range combat, which is the aggressive team's strength. But the aggressive team's weakness is range combat, which is of course the passive team's strength. Essentially what we have here is 2 complete and polar opposite playstyles, but regardless of whichever one that you look at, both teams are complementing each other's strengths and diminishing their weaknesses. In the hypothetical scenario that I just described, team dynamics clearly plays an essential role, but flow and map control are arguably more important, and let me explain how. Every single competent competitive team out there knows that not everything goes according to plan every single time, and so you have to adjust on the fly, maintain your team's flow and map control. Now the way in which you do this is by what I like to call the diamond rotation formation. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, where you have one Guardian leading, followed by one Guardian on the left and right flanks, ensued by another Guardian bringing up the rear. Basically, you have a diamond formation that can easily interchange positions depending on the environment and how many Guardians the squad is currently facing. The way in which this strategy exceeds expectations is by gaining map control through constant rotations, going from one quadrant of the map to the next. Not only does it keep the enemy team guessing as to where you are, but only 1 or 2 radar blips are actually appearing at a single time, giving the perception that the enemy team has the upper hand, but in reality it's vice versa, and boom, before the enemy team even knows what hit them, they've all been emancipated from their ghosts. The reason as to why this tactic works so well is because it allows for team shots from a multitude of number 1 perspectives and number 2 elevations, without a single Guardian being too clustered to their teammates. Way too often, I have seen so many Guardians who were too clumped and too clustered together, causing team wipes, and this is because one grenade can damage all 4 Guardians and then it's game over. With this very simple idea, you and your team can all be in the exact same room, attack multiple Guardians from 4 different perspectives, while the enemy team can only shoot your team from one choke point. Of course, every now and then, one of your teammates is going to get picked off, or you may get picked off yourselves. And so the beauty about this formation is that as long as you guys are continuously rotating and gaining the map control from one quadrant to the next, your teammate or yourself is going to have a much higher percentage to spawn at an area that you are going to, and so you can cut the regrouping time in half. Through this description, I think that you guys can now vividly see that this constant diamond rotation formation is how you and your team can address flow, map control, and multiple team shooting perspectives in the blink of an eye. Understanding this, the very next thing that I want to analyze is communication and how everyone has to know their callouts 110% of the time. Saying pronouns like over there, right, or left, or anything along those lines is simply unacceptable, and the reason is because everyone has different orientations as to which direction they are currently facing. Your left is not going to be the same as your entire team's left, and the same thing can also be said of your teammates' left not being the same as yours. This is why it is so vital to know precise callouts like generators, fuel, dome, basin, or even the control capture points of A, B, and C. Whatever the callout is, everyone on your team has to be on the exact same page and know the general callouts that you are referring to. In accordance with this, giving callouts immediately the second that you see a Guardian, and more importantly, while you are in the gun battle engagement, is how all top-tier teams function. Too many Guardians are so focused on the engagement that they don't even give any callout at all, and by the time that the Guardian needs help, the help can't arrive fast enough and the gunfight's already over with your team down a man. Now, I'll be the first one to realize that multitasking is extremely difficult, challenging, and strenuous. But if you call out where that Guardian is at the beginning of the gun battle engagement, before you even take a shot, not only are you going to be able to focus on the gunfight, knowing the help is on the way, but at the very least, your team will then trade kills, and this is far, far better than being down a man. In this sense, your team still has a fighting chance if you happen to die, as the teams will still then be 3-on-3, 2-on-2, or whatever the outcome may be. If you were to ask me, there is never such a thing as too much information, and when everyone is constantly talking, it is up to you and your brain power to discern which information you can act upon given your current health, your current position, teammate locations, enemy perspectives, and every single other possible input to give you and your team the best advantageous outcome. When it comes to getting W's, communication is by all means at the top of the list to achieve victory, and if you lack in the pivotal skill set to call out enemy locations before the gunfight begins, the good news is that it's something that you can easily work on, and by the time that you know it, you're going to be calling out minuscule ants, sending them to the afterlife. Grasping that, the very next thing that I want to discuss is team morale via mental state of mind and positivity. Always, always, always believe that you are going to win every single engagement, no matter what. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, that sounds like an arrogant prick mentality, but let me assure you that it's not, and here is why, my friends. Your brain is the most colossal and powerful tool in your entire body, so much to the point that modern-day science has estimated we only have unlocked 10% of its full potential. Thus, when your brain truly believes that it can do something, your body reacts to those endorphins being sent to your muscles, ligaments, and nerve endings tremendously, increasing your odds of success tenfold. In contrast to this, the opposite can also be said, and when your brain believes that you can't do something, your body is going to react accordingly, causing your body to perform not at its full potential. This game is simply a mental state of mind, and if you tell your brain that you can do something and win an engagement, then you are already putting yourself in the winner's circle like a true Greek god. Now, something that falls along the line of this exact same principles is positivity, and how positivity plays a huge role on not just your mental state of mind, but your teammates as well. If one of your teammates starts to get down on themselves for having a bad game or a bad play, it's your responsibility to give that person the confidence and encouragement to do better next time. Mention what they could have potentially learned from that previous engagement so that they don't repeat that same mistake twice, and will be more likely then to apply good habits in upcoming gunfights. It's been scientifically proven that positivity and positive reinforcement leads to more favorable future outcomes. When somebody makes a spectacular and phenomenal play, give credit where credit is due, and say to your teammate that that was truly a beautiful and glorious play. If this is the case, that Guardian will continue to have more dominating success in the future and continue to grow as a player. However, negativity and toxicity is the enemy of success, and as the saying goes, misery loves company. This holds true for anything in life, and is 100% applicable to any video game, especially when it comes to playing the competitive scene in Destiny 2. The more negative that one single person is, it catches like wildfire and the entire team spirals out of control into an empty abyss of defeat. It is up to you and your fire team to avoid this at all costs and cut it off at the source. As soon as one person gets a little bit negative, give positivity, and if that still doesn't work, it's time to call it quits for now and regroup by a later date to once again continue wrecking house in the competitive playlist. Never be ashamed to take a break when things aren't going your way, And in all honesty, it's actually quite a good sign of a well-oiled team to be able to recognize this, stop, put everything on pause, and then hit the play button to reach Legend and obtained the ultimate glory. Having said all these things, I think that you guys now have a very solid comprehension of how this teamwork and how this team dynamics is supposed to be going. You now know and can apply this diamond rotation formation, and that's not only going to improve your team dynamics, but it's also going to improve your flow and map control. In addition to this, when you incorporate communication by having some superb callouts and giving callouts before engagements are actually happening, you're not only going to put yourself in a better position to win that gunfight, but your entire team as well. As you all know, team shots are important in this game, and having communication can solve that problem 110%. Lastly, when you incorporate a mental state of mind that is positive and positive alone, that's going to spread like crazy, and it's going to become an infectious light, just like the Traveler, allowing all of us to become the Guardians of old. With that, I'm very intrigued to hear all your guys' thoughts on everything that I've just said down in the comment section below. By all means, let me know what you guys think about these statements, whether or not you agree with my assessment or you don't, and if you guys have some other tips and tricks that have helped you, then please put those down there as well, as I have no doubt that everyone is going to find them very beneficial, and I can't wait to see exactly what you guys gotta say. Lastly, go ahead and check out some of my other new videos, as you guys can see right there on the screen. If you happen to enjoy this one, then you're definitely going to enjoy those as well. That's pretty much all I've got for you as of right now, and so as always, DS Slayers, great gaming, until next time.